So the Nintendo Direct just happened. There's been a lot of weird speculation about Nintendo. In this video, we're going to quickly cover the key points, why this Nintendo Direct confirms a lot of the leaks that we've seen in previous videos. But first up, let's lay the land. What did we see? When the Direct kicked off, we got straight into games with Mario and Luigi Brothership. It's cool cartoon cel-shaded platform. Mario and Luigi launch from this kind of Wind Waker-like ship on different levels, have to battle bad guys in turn-based combat. It's fun and full of character, and it's coming out on November 7th. According to Takahashi, it's the first new entry in 9 years, so that's pretty crazy. It's going to be a good one for Mario and Luigi fans. Next up, we saw Super Mario Party Jamboree, which I wasn't sure if that was a DLC or an expansion, but apparently it's that game coming out in October. It's going to feature 20-player online gameplay, and it looks really good, and like Nintendo have actually learned, because if anybody remembers the first Mario Party game on Switch, it didn't even have online play. Then we saw something really unexpected, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. It's a new Legend of Zelda game, but it's top-down, like the more classic games. Then we found out that the kind of role reversal, where Link has vanished, and players actually control Princess Zelda and have to save Link. Summon magic with the Tri-Rod, make objects appear to solve puzzles, and create echoes of monsters to help you fight other monsters. And this one again looks really cool and full of character. It's one to be excited for. It's out in September, and they also announced a new Switch Lite that has all of the cool Zelda art on it. Now, if we fast forward to the end of the Direct, we actually got one last major Nintendo announcement, which was that Metroid Prime 4 is coming next year in 2025. It's called Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I saw a short teaser, and it showed gameplay, and you know, Metroid Prime 4 has been kind of stuck in development hell for years now, but we actually saw gameplay, looks good, and they said it's planned for 2025. So that sounds very tentative, and be careful about getting too stuck on it definitely being a 2025 game. But it would go with some of the leaks and rumors that we'll talk about at the end, about maybe this is for the 2. But then we saw some pretty standard third-party games. Fairy Tail 2, the JRPG coming out in winter, Fantasian Neo Dimensions is from the Final Fantasy creators, and it's an RPG that kind of looks like Kingdom Hearts. It kind of has turn-based combat with skills that can be aimed, and it kind of bring this cool, fresh new take on your traditional RPG. That also comes out in Holiday 2024. Then we saw this 2D platformer that kind of reminded me a lot of Gravity Rush on the PlayStation. That one's for 5. It's called Neo Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which I don't know how many of you are interested in, but I thought it looked exactly like Animal Crossing. That was really strange. Generally, we saw lots of smaller games like Metal Slug, Damperman, Darkest Dungeon 2, amongst loads of other announcements that we won't go over here because you can direct for yourself. Because here we're really kind of trying to get a feel for what Nintendo is up to, as this year's been pretty quiet. They also announced during the Direct classic titles for Switch, like Perfect Dark, and that's great, but it's still, again, pretty standard. But this kind of me on to why we need the Switch 2, and why some of the indicators during this Direct indicate that it probably is going to be coming out soon and is in line. So let's talk about Funko Fusion. We saw this during the presentation, the Nintendo Direct then, and we've seen it in other Summer Game Fest events on the PlayStation and things like that. But when I saw the Switch graphic, it looked really, really bad. Like, it looked really low res. It looked bad, right? And it kind of made me realize, like, this shows how badly we need a Switch 2, because it's not even really kind of a cartoony type game. Then they also showed Stray, which was a PlayStation exclusive years ago on the PS5. But the textures look really muddy and undefined, and it had a low resolution. You know, you really realize this came out 2 years ago. It hammers home that we need the Switch 2. Like, regardless of what Nintendo have planned, we need to, because it's it's been 8 years, Nintendo Switch, and it is a portable console. And it's really, really stretching it, and it's just making it worse for, like, I hope the Switch 2 is good. And this kind of brings me to why we might actually get the Switch. We saw all the games were either announced for the rest of this year or early 2025, except for Metroid Prime 4, which is, if you think about it, a good game to announce alongside the Switch 2. And what they did with Breath of the Wild, they built the hype for that. Then, oh, you can play it on the Wii U, but it's also coming to the Switch. And I think Metroid Prime 4 will be the same because it looks like an open game and like it will require more powerful graphics. Really benefit from that. It would also be a perfect game to capitalize on the hype. Obviously, they're not going to have Zelda this time. So I would say this kind of points to the Switch coming next year. And it kind of follows the leaks that we've seen so far. So the leaks have said that this actual direct would focus on games coming year, and then an event in the holidays later in the year announced the Switch 2 for between March and May of 2025. And that kind of seems like the case from what we've seen today. It went exactly how the leaks have said, and if you're interested, I have a previous video on this, just check it out. It's just following the formula of what we've seen, and it really seems like we are going to get the Switch 2. They're not going to talk about it yet in true Nintendo style. They'll probably talk about it in November, December. Then they'll say, hey, it's coming out in March, April, May. Really, like the Funko Fusion especially, my mind keeps back to it. It really shows that we need a Switch 2 because, it's not, games aren't all about the graphics, but I mean, this looks really bad. Like, there we go. That was the Nintendo Direct. That's why I think, back for the Switch 2 soon. All the great stuff we saw. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.